This, and as best as possible, cut this in half, okay? The sharper your knife, the better. And we're just gonna butterfly this. That's what this called. Because when you open it up, boom, it's like a butterfly. All right. Now you can technically make this into two, or you can just grab this as a whole and pound it all out and roll it up this way. I think I'm just gonna leave it like this. I am not a fan of this part here. I do not like this. And I get annoyed when I go to a restaurant and I taste that part. I swear I will completely stop eating my meal. I don't care how good it is. That part will completely knock me off. So there we go. We got this cut up. All right, let's put this to the side and work on the next one. Grab this, a Ziploc bags. We're going to throw the chicken in there, and we're going to flatten it out in there again with our meat tenderizer, okay? So just to let you know, what I did was I grabbed a tablespoon, or should I say a teaspoon, of all the seasonings that I showed you guys earlier, and I just put it into a mix. The reason why I did this is I didn't want to contaminate all the containers with, you know, the chicken juice or whatever the heck you want to call it, by having to grab it each one. So I'll grab a spoonful and sprinkle it like this on there, and yeah, that's what we're going to go with. All right, so here we got our first one. So we're going to grab the chicken and we're going to place it in the bag. Now there is a hard side, which is basically where the skin would normally be, and then there's the soft side, which is the inside part. So I personally like to mash it on the hard side, and we're going to have the plastic wrap handy because we're going to need it when we start rolling things up. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to pound all the meats, we're going to season all the meats, and then we're going to put the ham and cheese mix in there. Sorry, that's my other assistant in there. All right, so we're going to grab this, and you want to do it with this side. This side will break it all up, okay? So we're just looking for an evening side. We're looking for like an even amount of chicken. You don't want one side thicker than the other. Like I said earlier, if it starts getting really big, you can actually make this more than one, because you can just cut this in half and then grab the individual parts and then roll those up. Obviously, then that means they'll be smaller, but you can still do that. But all right, so we're just gonna grab this again. I'm gonna sprinkle the seasoning on there, and then we're gonna grab ham and cheese. This was cheese. Now remember, if you don't actually eat this stuff, you don't have to use, I mean, you do if you want the traditional one, but if you just want to try this, you can use something else. You can use different kind of cheese. If you don't like Swiss cheese, you don't have to use ham. I've seen people use turkey. I've tried it with turkey actually myself. But yeah, so roll this up, and then after it's rolled up, here, we'll go this way now. So we'll grab this. I forgot to season it this time. It's all right. When I go back to do the other part, I'll season it. Then we're gonna just grab this and tighten it up. All right. So I'm going to continue doing that with the rest of them, and then Later on, we'll meet back up before we do the breadcrumbs and the egg wash and then the frying and then putting in the oven. And, you know, we're going to get it done, but it's all right. It's what we got to do to have a good meal, okay? So hold on tight. All right, so here we go. Grab the seasoning. Put it on there. Like I said, just get an even amount because you want flavor all up in here. You want that in there. So we'll grab the ham again. And the cheese. And then we're gonna grab this chicken, and you start rolling up. All right, just roll it up tight. All right, then when you have it rolled up, you can grab your seasonings again. And then you're gonna grab this with the paper, roll it all up, keep it tight, keep it tight. Then after you grab it, you're gonna go like this. It's rolled up, then you're gonna grab the ends, tie them up. When we put this in the fridge, like I said, we're gonna leave this in the fridge for a little bit, at least half hour at the minimal. We're gonna leave it in there, and we have them all tied up. Got some oil going on in there. It's basically just a little light coating over it because we're gonna actually fry this just to give it some color, and then we're gonna put it in the oven. Sorry for my dog because now he wants to interrupt. So I have the oven going on right now at 400 degrees. Right now I just want to get it hot. We can end up bringing it down to 350 once I'm actually putting the meat in there, okay? Now what we're gonna do is grab the whole thing and we're gonna turn it in here. It's all right if the cheese is sticking out. And then we're gonna grab this and we're gonna roll it in here. My idea didn't work. So we're just gonna grab it and coat this. And we're hoping, not hoping, but we're hoping that this cooperates with me. You know what we're gonna do? Hang on. What we're gonna do is this. We're gonna make our life a little simpler. And let's use these handy dandy toothpicks. They work so well for the other stuff. So let's grab them in there wherever the meat is that it would potentially open up. And you can shove that right in there. And as you can see, this is now where I have the toothpicks at. All right, what we'll work on here. So we're just gonna brown this up. Like I said, because you don't want to make this too oily because it is gonna go in the oven, and you don't want to. There we go. You see? Like I said, we're just giving this some color on the outside. There we go. We see there? All right, so the chicken has been in the oven at 350 degrees for 10 minutes now. So we're gonna take it out so you guys can see it. It's not cooked. We're not saying it's done. It's definitely not done, but this is what we're looking at. So we're gonna grab it and we're gonna give it a turn. Because as you can see, it's getting cooked more on one side since the oil's in the bottom. So we're just gonna turn that and we're gonna turn that. Whew. Isn't that looking delicious? Look at that, looking delicious. Can you see that? Can you see that? All right, so what we're gonna do is, excuse me, we're gonna put this back in the oven for another 10 minutes. In that meantime, it's where we're gonna start working on our pasta. All right, so another 10 minutes are down. We want to check on this chicken. And it's looking fantastic. Ooh, you see this. Here, just in case you don't get a good look. Look at that. So we're going to turn this one more time. We're going to turn it on one of the other sides. See which side cooperates. There we go. You see that? Assistant, do you see this?
Yes.
Awesome. So we're going to turn that in there. And we're going to put it in the oven again. And what we're going to do is we're going to still leave it at 350. But we're going to leave it in there to work its magic. Because, guess what, assistant?
What?
It is now time to work on our pasta. So by the time we're done working on our pasta, that chicken is done. So this has been in here for what the box says 11 minutes. Boom, here's the minute. So what we're gonna do is this. We're gonna drain this pasta. Wait, no we're not. We're actually gonna use this stuff so we can make the Alfredo sauce. And from what I learned, the only thing you need is Parmesan cheese, butter, and the secret ingredient, pasta water. So we're going to stop so that can stop boiling. We're going to turn this on. There we go. We're going to turn this on, and what we're going to do is this. We're going to grab our pasta, and we're just going to place this in here. And instead of draining it, like I said, what we're going to do is we're going to use some of the pasta water. I'm losing a lot of my pasta. Whoop.
Steamy.
Alright, so what we're going to do is let's lower the heat down to this. Alright? And we are going to grab a tablespoon of, what is this, assistant?
Butter.
No, what is it?
Butter.
There we go. I'm going to grab some butter and some fresh grated, I can't say fresh. This is obviously imported, so it was grated a while ago. Then we're just gonna put some of this in here. Remember, this all depends on how much you're making. We're gonna grab some of this. We're just gonna pour it in here. And then,
Ow.
thank you. Then we're just gonna mix it all up. And remember, you can always add more cheese and more.
And more cheese.
No, not cheese. Depending on how much you're making, is how much you're gonna need of all the other stuff. So we're gonna add some more cheese to this. Ooh.
Pick up the ball.
Yeah, so this is all we need. This is gonna be our fettuccine Alfredo. I already know this is gonna be delicious. And then by the time we're done here, that chicken is gonna be ready to go. And then it'll be time to eat. All right, so you see how this is going in here? You seeing this? Camera, you catching this?
Why are you talking to the camera?
Carlos, who else am I supposed to talk to, babe? Just give it a little. So sticky because of all the cheese. But here's our pasta portion of the evening. I let it fry it up more. Maybe the breading would have stayed on a little bit better. This is what it looks like, you see? Perfectly cooked, still juicy, and it's gonna be delicious. All right, so it's finally the moment of truth. I'm hungry as hell. Hopefully this is as amazing as it looks, at least to me. So we're gonna try this. This is the first time I've made this way. So let's see how this works out. It's good. It's good. All right, let's try this out. See it?
He looks right.